NBC 10 political commentator Sue O'Connell joins us now. All right, Sue, just 6 weeks to go until Election Day. Some people think that's a lot of time. Some people think it's not much. What mistakes is each campaign making right now, and how do they right the ship in time?
Well, I'm going to say what Jaquetta and Charlie said there, and I'm going to start with the easy campaign, the Trump-Vance campaign. Look, Trump is continuing to make the mistake of not criticizing Vice President Kamala Harris on policy issues. Instead, he's engaging in rambling, crazy talk filled with lies, and he keeps contradicting himself. Today, in the same speech, he urged his supporters to use the vote early option, and then seconds later, he criticized vote early. What's he doing? The Trump campaign doesn't have that many people as they need on the ground in these swing states, so he needs the voters to get out to vote for him now and on Election Day. So this mixed message is going to hurt him. He should just stop doing that. How about that? Now, for the Harris-Walz campaign, a mistake they're making is not really responding to the criticism that they are not presenting policy. I think they are presenting policy, but people don't. So they could squash that by releasing a policy stance every day, branding it as the Harris-Walz policy of the day. And I agree with everyone who just spoke before me. I think Harris needs to sit down for a live interview with one of the major networks. That criticism keeps dogging her, and I think it is for good reason.
All right, let's turn to one of the issues in this election, and that is abortion. Harris has been hammering Trump on that issue. I remember during the debate, it was one of her more effective lines of attack. She's branding the bans across the country as Trump abortion bans. Right. She's called him the architect of America's abortion crisis. But of course, the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade when Joe Biden was in office not that long ago. So when you put that all together, are her criticisms fair, and is her line of attack effective?
Yes, Glenn. It's fair because overturning Roe v. Wade was a goal of Trump's, and he succeeded, and he brags about it and takes credit for it. The justices who overturned that right were picked by Trump. Just a reminder here, the most important thing a president does is pick Supreme Court justices. And Trump and the Republicans, they're bragging about it, but they also want some distance from it. But the lack of safe reproductive care is their baby. So as far as calling the bans Trump abortion bans, it is a bit of an exaggeration. But look, the Republicans routinely beat the Democrats at the name game. They keep saying Biden has an open border policy when it's the tightest border in recent history. So I think all is fair in the world of campaigning on that front.
All right, I got one inside baseball question for you, but it's an important one because during a recent interview with Wisconsin Public Radio, Harris said she would support eliminating the filibuster in order to secure abortion protections in Congress. During Biden's campaign, Republicans kept warning America that Biden would overturn the filibuster. Biden denied it over and over again and clearly hasn't done so. But now Harris is running on that very issue, which does separate her from the president. Why does she feel secure taking that position when just 4 years earlier she was part of a campaign that said we wouldn't do that?
So Harris is threading a needle here. She is not saying the filibuster should be completely eliminated. She's saying there should be an exception, eliminating it only in order to pass federal legislation protecting abortion rights. And look, it's not the first time she's touted this exception idea. During her 2020 presidential campaign, she supported a filibuster exception to pass the Green New Deal. So Senator Joe Manchin, remember him? He was a Democrat, now an independent. He says that her position cost her his endorsement. But I'm not sure that's a big price to pay when you've got a Cheney family endorsement in her pocket. So the other thing, I guarantee you most Americans couldn't tell you what the heck the filibuster actually is. So most will hear Harris saying she wants to restore Roe and just gloss over the word filibuster. And don't you dare ask me to explain it right now, Glenn.
All right. I know it's that thing that happens in the newsroom sometimes, Sue, when somebody keeps talking and they won't stop talking. That's my description of what a filibuster is. Sue O'Connell, thank you. Don't forget, we recap all of the week's big political headlines every Sunday on At Issue. Join Sue, Corey, and Matt. It airs at 11:30 immediately following Meet the Press.
That was a good